India is rightly regarded as a land of villages. In a country where 72.18% of population lives in 5,93,643 villages, the importance of rural local government, popularly known as Panchayat Raj in India, is self-evident. Indeed, the idea of rural local government is part of larger concern for social and economic amelioration of the people, a task to which the country is irrevocably committed. For sustainable economic and social development to take place in any country, it is necessary that people participate in the political process in a way decentralize the administration. Panchayats have been a vibrant and dynamic identity of the Indian villages since the beginning of recorded history. The word Panchayat is a traditional one referring to the 5 elders in a village who mediated conflict and spoke on behalf of all the residents of a village in pre-modern times. But in these traditional bodies, the lower caste and women had no representation, and that was ignored. Gandhiji, the father of the nation, in 1946 had aptly remarked that the Indian independence must begin at the bottom, and every village ought to be a republic with Panchayat having powers. Gandhiji's dream has been translated into reality with the introduction of the 3-tier Panchayat Raj system to ensure people's participation in rural reconstruction. The Constitution provided in Part 4 the Directive Principles of State Policy, Article 40, for the setting up of village panchayats. But this is non-justiciable, and there was no pressure on any state to set up such a system. In this unit, let us look into following aspects: history of Panchayat Raj, 73rd Amendment to Panchayat Raj, 3-tier system, functioning of Panchayat Raj system, decentralized planning and Panchayat Raj system. Panchayat Raj has a long history in India. Panchayats are mentioned in Rig Veda, which is believed to have been composed more than 1000 years before Christ. The 5 members of Panchayat of the village were known as Pancha Parameshwar, or the 5 godly persons. Kings were respectful towards them. The Panchayat distributed land, collected revenue, and settled disputes in the village. Under the British, the Panchayat started losing their self-governing character. Viceroy Lord Mayo's resolution of 1870 is an important landmark in the evolution of local self-government during the British rule. The Royal Commission on Decentralization, headed by C.E.H. Hobhouse, recommended granting some powers to the Panchayats to enable them to perform their duties independently. They were entrusted with functions like village sanitation, control over ponds, and management of schools. Balwant Rai Mehta Committee in the late 1960s came up with the idea of local governments, which was given the traditional name of Panchayat. Later, the Ashok Mehta Committee in the late 1970s too made recommendation for the setting up of local governments. These had an important impact many years down the line. It is from the union's experience of development programs that the idea or need for local government came to be pushed. It has been a top-level initiative for local development and decentralized administration. April 24, 1993 is a landmark day in the history of Panchayat Raj in India, as on this day the Constitution Act 1992 came into force to provide constitutional status to the Panchayat Raj institutions. The amendment prescribed a 3-tier system of local governance for the entire country. This has been effective since 1993. India, of course, is not alone in this process. Decentralization has emerged as a dominant trend in world politics. In 1998, the World Bank estimated that all but 12 of the 75 developing and transitional countries with populations greater than 5 million had embarked on a process of political devolution. Milestones in Indian decentralization. 1882, the Resolution on Local Self-Government. In 1907, the Royal Commission on Decentralization is appointed. In 1948, constitutional debates between Gandhi and Ambedkar on Gram Swaraj self-rule. In 1957, Balwantrai Mehta Commission, an early attempt to implement the Panchayat structure at district and block levels. 1963, K. Santhanam Committee recommended limited revenue raising power for panchayats and the establishment of State Panchayati Raj Finance Corporation. 1978, Ashok Mehta Committee appointed to address the weaknesses of Panchayat Raj institutions, concluded that a resistant bureaucracy, lack of political will, ambiguity about the role of Panchayat Raj institutions and elite capture had undermined previous attempts at decentralization, recommending that the districts serve as the administrative unit in the Panchayat Raj institution structure. Based on this recommendation, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh and West Bengal passed new legislation to strengthen Panchayat Raj institutions. In 1985, G.V.K. Rao Committee, appointed to address weaknesses of Panchayat Raj institutions, recommended that Block Development Office (BDO) should assume broad powers for planning, implementing and monitoring rural development programs. 1986, L.M. Singhvi Committee recommended that local self-government should be constitutionally enshrined and that the Gram Sabha should be the base of decentralized democracy in India. 1993, the 73rd Amendment to the Indian Constitution, Panchayat Raj institutions at district, block and village levels are granted constitutional status. The Gram Sabha is recognized as the formal democratic body at the village level. The 74th Amendment granting constitutional status to municipal bodies is passed soon after. 1996, the Adivasi Act, the power of self-government are extended to tribal communities living in 5th schedule areas. 1997, Conference of Chief Minister on Panchayati Raj at Vijnan Bhavan, New Delhi. The passage of the Constitution, that is 73rd Amendment Act 1992, marks a new era in the federal democratic setup of the country and provides constitutional status to the Panchayat Raj institutions. Consequent upon the enactment of the Act, almost all the states or union territories except Jammu and Kashmir, National Capital Territory, that is Delhi, and Arunachal Pradesh have enacted their legislation. Except Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Bihar, NCT Delhi and Pondicherry, all other states and union territories have held elections. As a result, 2,27,698 panchayats at village level, 5,906 panchayats at intermediate level and 474 panchayats at district level have been constituted in the country. These panchayats are being manned by about 34 lakh elected representatives of panchayats at all levels. This is the broadest representative base that exists in any country of the world, developed or underdeveloped. The main feature of these acts are: first one, a 3-tier system of Panchayat Raj for all states having population of over 20 lakhs. Panchayat elections to be held regularly every 5 years. Reservation of seats for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and women. Constitution of State Finance Commission to make recommendations as regard the financial powers of the panchayats, and Constitution of District Planning Committee to prepare development plans for the district as a whole. Panchayat now means the three tiers of local administration brought in by 73rd Amendment, the highest being the district or Jilla Panchayat. The power that those panchayats enjoy are enshrined in the laws enacted by each state, and in India there is considerable variation across states. These bodies, which are legally local government, have a pyramidal structure. At the base is the Gram Sabha, the entire body of citizens in a village or grama. This is the general body that elects the local government and charges it with specific responsibilities. This body is expected to meet at specific time and approves major decisions taken by elected body. Gram ensures downward accountability, transparency and voice to the people. In reality, this is far from being the case. About this, basic unit of democracy is the Gram Panchayat or GP, which is the first level elected body covering a population of around 5,000 people. This may include more than one village. It is not uncommon to find several villages coming under one GP. This has implications for women's participation as women have limited mobility. At the district level is the Jilla Panchayat, which is the link with the state government. In between the two is an intermediate body called in Karnataka the Taluk Panchayat, which is expected to play a coordinating role among Gram Panchayats in its jurisdiction and Jilla Panchayat in planning and administration. While the levels are common across the country, states have passed laws that are not necessarily similar with respect to roles, functions and responsibilities. Empowerment through Panchayat Raj. In order to ensure that Panchayat Raj institutions function as instrument of local self-government, it is important that their functional and financial autonomy is guaranteed and transparency in their functioning is ensured. This has to be accomplished in most of the states. The role of Gram Sabha is perhaps the most important in ensuring the success of Panchayat Raj. Institutions at the village level. Empowerment to tribal people. The provisions of the Panchayats Act 1996 came into force on 24th December 1996. This act extends panchayats to the tribal areas of states such as Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Orissa and Rajasthan, which intends to enable tribal society to assume control over their own destiny to preserve and conserve their traditional rights over natural resources. As a result of the elections of panchayats in all the states, there are about 3.4 million elected representatives at all levels of panchayats. Out of this, an overwhelming majority is new entrants, particularly from the weaker section of the society, that is scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and women. Involvement of women in the Panchayat Raj institution is expected to bring qualitative change in the matters relating to the health, nutrition, children welfare, family care, drinking water, etc. Reservation for SC/ST. There is a mandatory provision for reservation of seats for SC/ST in every tier of Panchayat Raj system. The reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe is another significant aspect for development of disadvantaged groups in the rural area. Panchayat Raj system includes Gram Sabha level to the Jilla Parishad level. Gram Sabha. All states have made provisions for the establishment of Gram Sabha in their respective Panchayat Acts. The scope and functions of Gram Sabha differs from the state to state, but this is regarded as a primary institution to facilitate direct participation of the local people in the planning and development activities in the area. The Constitution makes it mandatory to establish the Gram Sabha at the village level. The Gram Sabha consists of all persons in the village registered in the electoral rolls. All the members of the Gram Sabha are to meet at least once a year to prepare a priority list of the works needed to be done in the village. Gram Panchayat concerned calls Gram Sabha meetings. The meeting is convened by a chairperson of the Gram Panchayat known as Sarpanch, Pradhan, Mukhiya or President in different states. A Gram Sabha meeting can take place only when the required quorum of 10 to 20% is present. The annual budget, proposals for taxation and all development related activities are supposed to be discussed and finalized in Gram Sabha meeting. Selection of beneficiaries under poverty elevation programs through the Gram Sabha has been made mandatory. Next stage is Gram Panchayat. Under the 73rd Constitution Amendment, it has been left to the states to endow the panchayats with such powers and authority as may be necessary to enable them to function as institutions of self-government. However, the states are required to see that the devolution of powers and responsibilities to panchayats contain provisions relating to the preparation of plans for economic development and social justice, the implementation of schemes for economic development and social justice as may be entrusted to them, including those in relation to the matters listed in the 11th schedule. The Gram Panchayat has also been vested with financial and taxation powers. It shall levy and collect taxes on items specified under the Act. The plan proposed by the Gram Sabha will be discussed and approved by the members of the Gram Panchayat in the Gram Panchayat meetings before being sent to the Panchayat Samiti. Next stage is Panchayat Samiti. Panchayat Samiti (PS) is elected body at the block level. The structure, powers and functions of these bodies are almost similar in all states in the country. It consists of members elected from the constituencies and MLAs from the area. The Panchayat Samiti can constitute standing committees to plan and implement programs in general administration, education, agriculture, communication, cooperation, etc. The Panchayat Samiti is also expected to supervise the development works undertaken by the Gram Panchayat and service delivery in the block area. Jilla Parishad. Jilla Parishad is to control, coordinate and guide the Gram Panchayats and Panchayat Samitis within the district, coordinate and consolidate the plans sent by the Panchayat Samitis, coordinate the demands for grants for special purposes received from the Panchayat Samitis of the district and exercise such other powers as entrusted to it by the state government. The main function of the Jilla Parishad is to coordinate and approve plans and projects of lower levels of elected governments. With an endorsement from the Gram Sabha, the Gram Panchayats forward their action plans to Jilla Panchayat through Panchayat Samitis. The CEO of Jilla Panchayat and other officers under him examines the action plans and check them against funds available in the different schemes. Planning units have been installed in every district which can provide professional expertise in local level planning. The district panchayat, that is Jilla Parishad, will have primarily the planning and coordinating role, while the intermediate level panchayats, that is panchayat samitis, will be primarily be implementing agencies. The gram panchayats will in the limited way be involved in program implementation. Decentralized planning is a system through which planning is done at different smaller administrative and executive levels. It must be remembered that decentralized planning is a two-way process which begins both from the top level as well as from the bottom level. In India, national planning is called macro level planning, state level planning is called meso level planning, and district planning is called micro level planning. The interface between the top down and bottom up process of planning mentioned above takes place at the district level. District planning begins with a careful analysis of the existing resources. Data relating to the following aspects may be collected to plan any programs at district level: land, water and other natural resources, which includes total area of the district, net cultivated area, irrigated area, pastures, current fallows, forested area, wasteland, area affected by salinity, fall of groundwater table, deforestation, etc. Agriculture data includes holding size and categories, cropping pattern and production, main crops, gross cropped areas, percentage of double multiple cropped areas output. Livestock, number of buffaloes, cows, goats, sheep, etc. Quantity and value of output land, water and other natural resources data will be collected. Settlement and population. The data in this category includes number of towns and inhabited villages, number of gram panchayats, population, rural and urban, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, male and female composition and density of population. The employment data includes classified into cultivators, agricultural laborers, household industries, services, industrial and other workers. The poverty distribution data also collected for the plan. It includes people living below the poverty line, subdivided into general, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, rural and urban. The drinking water supply, the data collected in this category are protected or piped water supplies, hand pumps and other sources. Irrigation, the potential groundwater resources, net irrigated areas, mode of irrigation, that is number of tube wells, dug wells, tanks and length of canals. The data related to transport and communication also collected for the plan. The length of metalled, non-metalled and kacha roads, length of railway tracks, number of posts and telegraph offices. The banking facilities in the area including number of banks subdivided into commercial, cooperative and regional rural banks also collected. Cooperatives divided into primary agricultural credit societies and farmer services societies also will be included in the data. Markets, regulated markets, wholesale and primary markets, mandis and hats. Health services data includes district hospitals, primary health centers, sub-centers and dispensaries. Educational services including primary schools, secondary schools, colleges and occasional training institutions data will be gathered. In decentralized planning, the concerned authority vis-a-vis village panchayat and Jilla Panchayat considers various geographical aspects including geographical area, cultivated land, wasteland, forest land. It also takes into account employment breakup, educational services and land use pattern. Block-wise list of cropping pattern data includes paddy, HYV paddy, coarse grains, pulses, oilseeds, cash crops, vegetables, fruits, spices and condiments. Panchayat Raj institutions takes into account crop-wise production, source-wise area under irrigation, land holding structure, tenancy system, submergence and salinity while planning administration.